Looked in these. Fascinating. Is there anything else to find on the miracle? Roottrees. Okay. Not really. Okay, keep this for now. Oh, we actually don't need to put any profession for Brenda, so we can remove this. Okay. Let's go search for Jim. James Roottrees is a singer who sings in the duo Jim and Diamond with his wife Diamond Laura. Okay. The duo, according to many sources you find, is considered a one-hit wonder due to this disco song rolling on down to the city. It's now in your evidence folder. Although Jim writes majority of songs, plays the guitar, and often sings, Diamond is considered by fans to be the band's lead singer. The band never had another hit, but has its fans who refer to themselves as Diamond's Dazzles. The rest of their music is more folksy, later, not acoustic than the one song they're known for. Jim and Diamond have continued to release music through the 80s and early 90s. Other albums you mentioned, Cherry and Sound of Laughter. Jim has become a bit of a recluse and he hasn't made public appearance in 96. Oh, hello. As seen in MMM, only the great-grandson of Elias Roottrees could make this sweet. Rolling on down the city was barely a top 20 hit for a few weeks in 1979. According to the liner notes, it satirizes how part of society was content to remain indifferent to economic inflation, civil unrest in the Middle East. Unless pop culture tricked them into caring. Somewhat ironic, listeners didn't seem to pay attention to the lyrics enough to trick them into caring. Instead, most of its play came from lower discos. Because it was such a product of its time, it doesn't get much play anymore, even on stations that play oldies. Maybe that's why I never heard of it before now. This image is from an auction for a sealed copy. It has a sticker that says, "Only the great-grandson of Elias Roottrees could make disco this sweet." It is credited to Peter... The music lyrics Jim Roottrees, vocals by Jim and Laura. Jim Roottrees is on the notables list, and we have evidence he will mark on its start with star lyrics, and the song contain no clues. Lyric to the song contain no clues. Lyrics: we are rolling on down to the city Saturday night, and you're quite a sight, and world might be burning, but I'm feeling right. Making ends meet to pay rent and eat. We can't afford gas, so we skate in the street. Beautiful. I will do a dramatic reading.
We're rolling on down to the city.
World man burning.
We can't afford gas, so we skate in the streets.
Guys all rush to say that I'm pretty.
Ladies blush and find me so witty.
They're out of luck tonight, what a pity.
We're rolling, rolling, rolling on down to the city.
On wheels we fly.
Never ages. The sentiment will never ages.
Moon is rising, and so is our pride.
Pick our own fate, make love not
They
hate.
fight overseas, but we'd rather skate.
Guys all rush to say that I'm pretty.
Ladies blush and find me so witty.
They're out of luck tonight, what a pity.
We're rolling, rolling, rolling on down to the city.
Good song. Definitely child of the times.
Politicians at large are hopeless.
The bankers in charge are all clowns.
Parties sell better than protests.
So signs up while we boogie down.
Down, down, down.
Guys all rush to say that I'm pretty.
Ladies blush and find me so witty.
They're out of luck tonight, what a pity.
We're rolling, rolling, rolling on down to the city.
Or are there 11 clues in this song? We will definitely have to find it out later. So there is a cousin with a star, which would be this. Did the music change? What's her name? Diamond. He's a cousin, right? Not like an uncle. So, grandparent, parent, sibling. Yeah, should be this. Okay. Maybe I'm wrong, but we'll find out. Let's Google her. James Roottrees is single, blah blah blah. Diamond Dazzle is the name of official fan club for Jim and Diamond. You find a forum post called Cool Things You Got in the Mail on a random forum about video games. One reply mentions that Jim and Diamond still send the Christmas card every year for Diamond's Dazzlers. It accompanied by some pictures as well as some history about the fan club. Apparently, even though it's no longer available to join, Jim and Diamond still honor it themselves personally. There's a fierce debate in the subsequent posts about whether that's cool or pathetic. Among the pictures of Christmas cards from years, only one is relevant. The card 96 pictures Jim's and Diamond's young son Wolf, as well as note about his daughter's band, the Floodsies.違うよ. Is this the wolf? Yes, that's the wolf. So if we go here now, this would probably be this, and we have wolf, and then we no idea. Child. Occupation child. Band. The Fuzzies are all-female punk band. Good for her. Out of New York City. They're mentioned in passing in an online review from earlier this year. Apparently they were opening act for the band the reviewer actually came to see. The reviewer writes that she normally doesn't review the opening act, but this one was unusual, and not because of the music, which is described as loud, fast, and repetitive, but not in the good way. The trio was extremely cagey about their identities. The reviewer asked the venue who they were, and she was told they were rumored to be the children of famous musicians and didn't want that to be why they became popular. The reviewer also mentioned that for an ground unknown band with absolutely no following, their equipment was all extremely expensive, and not only were they selling CDs, but they only cost $1. They were probably losing a fortune. The reviewer said if she bought a copy, she would be unlikely to ever listen to any of it again, except maybe Beef Baby, the 7th track. There is no picture of the Fuzzies performing live, but the cover from the CD they were selling, Conquistador, has been added to your evidence. Nikki, Nina. I will put my guess in. I might be wrong. Wrong, I might be. But we'll see. Well, since I'm not getting the yellow thing, I probably am wrong. But we'll change the things as we go. Probably. Hopefully. Is it there? That's probably the mistake I'm making. There we go. That was the mistake. I'm just coupling all artists into artists, not the musicians. Also not following. Okay, thank you. Booyah. Ooh. Irashai?
You're on a roll. I'll try to keep that momentum going. Carl's office was a mess, thanks to some burst pipes.
What a coincidence. Coincidence.
But I unearthed a photo from a 1970s Roottrees reunion. I also found some important-looking papers.
Photos. Important-looking papers.
You've traced 9 blood relatives so far. I'll have more to share after you find 9 more.
Okay. The notorious Montoys. Miss Montoy with kittens. Valerie Montoy. Noise. Mystery comics. Right, girl. Okay, that's the evidence. Is Is there anything else I can? Family doco. Okay, I see. Alphabet Davis and their race names are the Genesis of begins of Young Alphabet Adventure versus one sec, I need to go grab a sweater. Kinda freezing in the house, not gonna lie. I can play this too? No? Too bad. Okay. Relatives. What to start with? The free spirits. That's a lot of people. That's a pregnant person. The smiles look weird. This photo has a note attached from your employer. Every 20 or so years, Roottrees would hold a big reunion and recreate an old family photo. This is one from 70s, and Carl's the teenager in the middle. This is the Carl, okay. Sorry about this water damage by person Carl's office. On the back of the photo, the childish print writing says November. There are also a large number of cursive signatures. They include Bunnie, the next president, Bunnie, next president Guy Hudson, Ernie, Caroline, Vanessa, Gwendolyn, Michael Jr., Jim Roottrees, Clark, Carl, and L.I.M. Okay, so many of them. This photo was taken inside an envelope, tucked inside of envelope with a letter beneath a candle in the corner of his office. The letter says, "To Carl and Brenda, I'm sorry that you were unable to attend the funeral. It was traditional to have it as soon as possible, and Ernie, more than everyone else knew how busy your job can be. I've closed the Shiva candle identical to ours if you'd like to pay respects, though it is not expected for those outside of the faith to do so." Ernie was a man full of love, not only for his family, but for his family's legacy. He had immense amount of pride for the work you three did together, as well as how Carl was carried on for him after taking over. As for myself, it is impossible to express my gratitude enough for rescuing us from the panic and burden of endless bills. Though we caught it too late for him to get the donor list, the company took care of us beyond the wildest expectations. It went unsaid at the time, but Ernie and I knew how it had to have been that Carl had... Ernie and I knew that it had to have been Carl that convinced the trust, and that it was no coincidence that happened shortly after your visit, Brenda. Up until the end, Ernie and I had to stay strong, especially for Nicole's sake. If we could have never have done without two of you fighting for us. Much love, Debbie. I will look in Ernie in a second. This photo has a note etched from our employer. Here's the bonus. When I pulled the photo damaged picture of the free spirits out of the frame, this fell out too. Written on the back of the photo is couldn't make the reunion. Wishing you well from Paris, Gwen and the boys. Gwen. This was buried under a ton of other mail that Carl left in his inbox. It had a handwritten note attached that seemed personal. It is a flyer about a candidate for local office, Stephanie Jones. On the back is an excerpt from a newspaper article, Butler County Times, about her campaign. Stephanie may have grown up in an unconventional family, to say the least. But in her words, it was still full of love, and now, 22 years later, with a baby of her own due around Christmas, her message for what is simply love is our future. The handwritten note says, Carl, I know we don't see eye to eye when it comes to the candy company, but if you could talk to your girls about putting out a statement supporting Stephanie, she could use the publicity your daughters bring. Don't let our conflict spread to the next generation. CM. Okay, let's do the Stephanie Jones first. We learned from an election results page that Stephanie Jones, a candidate for city council, won her campaign election day about a month ago. You find a mention Roottrees in any articles about her. Stephanie also has a very bare bones website for her campaign. It is simply a picture of her campaign mailer. Underneath says, be sure to read the full article in the Butler County Times. Butler County is located outside Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. While the Roottrees Candy Company now has its quarters in the city, the company began a small farm within the Butler County limits, and the area has a lot of history with the family. The Butler County Times is presumably a local paper. There are likely articles from over years involving the Roottrees family and those adjacent to them. Good. It's been automatically added to your periodical search interface. As a side note, a video game called The Roottrees Are Dead was once set in Butler County, and it turns out the creator never lived in the near Butler County or even had any connection to Butler County. Good side note, thank you. I forgot what her name was. Okay. Stephanie Jones. The most recent mention of Stephanie Jones is a small report detailing the election results from last month's election. Stephanie apparently won. Okay. Also find a full version newspaper clipping on the back of the campaign mailer. While most of it's unimportant, you do find the following. Stephanie Jones, born Stephanie Landon. Until her marriage to local business owner Brian Jones, has lived in Butler County her full life. Stephanie grew up in a home without a father, with my mother and her partner. I essentially had entirely female influence. Okay. Though she's a distant cousin of the Roottrees. Her mother, Caroline, local artist, has appeared on the front page of Butler in the past. has often come out opposed to the corporation policies regarding deforestation. Ingenious trees expand maple farms, and like my mother, I'm not a fighter. I can bring love to the world. Did I misspell? Can I just do land and them? No. Too bad, too bad. Caroline. Disappear in front page of content can. So she's supposed to be in the periodicals. Mother appeared. What says? Can I just? For example. Stephanie Landon. Okay, she's not Landon though. Morden. Caroline Morden. You find a cover story about local art installation cutting one by Caroline Morden. There isn't much about Caroline as a person. This is mostly a listing of art in Butler County. She seems to get top billing. Accompanying the story, there is an image of Caroline standing beside a large metal sculpture of a mermaid. In this caption, Caroline standing next to her sculpture Atlantis Burden. This sculpture is one of many works featured in her upcoming book Self-Portrait. Art a Beautiful Woman. According to her quote further down, Atlantis Burden is meant to symbolize society split by decision whether women should be equals or something to protect. The picture on the front page is evidence. What's the spelling of your name? Morden? Published in softcover large art photography sculpture dedicated to Elise and Stephanie. Mostly black and white picture of Caroline's art. The centerpiece is a series of full-color nude self-portraits at different ages. Okay, stretching from 25-30. Thank you for not making earlier than 25. Certainly not been added to. Thank you. In this intro, Caroline talks about influences. She was one of the youngest in her generation. In her late teens, she has felt betrayed when her sister Gwendoline and cousin Bunnie gave up on dreams to settle for boring men. She especially dislikes her brother-in-law, Dr. Wilson, who calls her completely bogus. Their marriages led her to double down on her passions, art and the environment. She even married a man who was... she married a man. Okay, never mind that. She comes out strong against the Roottrees company's effect on the local environment and rules how she was not able to convince her father, Zach. Changes to the policy. She also explains that her marriage to Mark led to the most volatile moments in her life. All negative, and that's the only good thing he ever gave her was a daughter. Leaving them all behind for good was pushed her to pursue her true loves, art and the beauty of woman. Okay, so she probably married Mark, then left and had a partner, if I'm not mistaken. I could be mistaken. The Image Company, a story about local art in Butler County. Carligans, the next sculpture. Okay. The problem is I have no idea where to put her. Why is there a frame around this? This one is an interesting one. Adoption. I think the problem we have here is we need to order the presidency. So many things to do. We find out a lot of the Caroline, Stephanie, but I just have no idea where they are on the map at this point of time. So I think we need to put let's go back to our story list. Let's do this. You find some information on the website about old films that are not yet available on VHS. The site is not very well organized and the search is broken, but you can get individual pages from your search engine. Gwen Roottrees, somewhat well-known actress who was active in the 1950s. She often appears in tabloids, especially around the time of her highly publicized divorce. Her biggest role was in a minor hit movie Guys Like Us. She left Hollywood after the flop of The Christmas Mission. There's a widely circulated picture of Wynne from behind the scenes of one of her movies, which you've added to evidence. Did you know trivia? Wynne was the granddaughter of Elias' granddaughter of Elias Roottrees, the founder of Roottrees Country. She shouldn't have been named Roottrees, but her father took her mother's famous name, which was quite rare in those days. Granddaughter. Close, please. So, either this, likely this because we have the divorce. Beautiful. The photo is widely circulated one of Roottrees. You have seen it multiple websites about films. Okay. The Valor contempt has been around a long time. You find many as 1950s for local movie theaters have at least 2 minorities named and cast like films that are shown at the time. Most of them guys like us in business. You find some information website called films, but you can get to visuals in the search engine. In which two secretaries cut their hair short and pose as businessmen to get ahead of life until one of them falls in love with their client and hilarity ensues, starring Wiggly, Leslie, and Harrison Lane. Do note, the title is a play on words. It can read that two women are men, similar to other men, or that the men are fond of them. True. Very deep. Extremely deep. Like Marion, whatever it is, Trench. Christmas Mission is a page called Flops. It was a war movie about World War I, released 1955, that received poor reviews and lost the study money. Wynne Roottrees had a role as soldier's wife who wrote him letters from home. You find no additional information. Make a guess that this is her. But divorce, though, it's highly publicized. By searching for Ovation's Grand Prix, you come across mentions of marriage to Bald Bill Williams. You find some information on website about old films that are not yet available to VHS. Okay. Bald Bill Williams was the leading man for some non-notable movies in the 1950s. He appeared as an adventure movie called Fortune Favors the Grave, which has yet to be released for some home audiences. Excuse me. You don't find additional information about that film. He was known for his good looks and off-screen romances, especially with blondes. He was married 4 different times and 4 different actresses. There's a famous Hollywood rumor that he even approached Marilyn Monroe at a party and that she was already aware of his reputation. Huh? No. away. What's his name? Oh, I forgot to highlight it. Okay. Williams. Really now? Huh, interesting. Interesting. Oh, if we go search for him soon. What's his name? Dun, 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 dun. Wild Bill Williams. He's not actually on the list for some reason. Gwen and the boys. Gwen. And the boys. Gwen and the boys, though. The boys. Gwen and the boys. Gwendolyn and Gwen are not the same person, are they? Debbie. been. Okay, let's go back to the big, what's it called? Stars. And we will see where we can get from here. Aloysius Herring Roottrees. Oh, that's the name. Was appointed judge and politician who earned his nickname ironically because he was the ambassador to Ireland for only 6 days. Okay, he served what some people contend is shortest term in history. A few days after he was appointed, he was heard disparaging his position of Irish people. Then he tried to run the state senate. He claimed to be related to the Rich Candy Company newspaper, but it came out that the last name was merely a coincidence and he was defeated in the last name. So he's not a family. But if it's coincidence, he's probably not supposed to be on the board now. If he's not related. Come. Oh, redfish, okay. Author Lauren Roottrees is a distant relative of Roottrees' sisters. Okay, we researched the book. According to a website about famous authors in the early 1960s, Lauren released a few romance novels under her married name, Lauren Ruffley. Too little fanfare, When her publisher learned that she had been keeping diaries about her famous family, they insisted to release them under her literal name, Lauren Roottrees, and take advantage of her family's notoriety. A selection of diary entries released in 1995 as A Life Between Wars spanned from ultimately death of her husband, World War II, to coping with the post-war world as a young widow and mother, as well as her perspectives on changing times and societies, all the way through the entry to Vietnam. While the content is not considered particularly relevant to modern audiences, it has found new life and exercise in high school English classes to show an evolution in writing style and look for info into life of previous generations. After the success of her diaries, her publisher re-released her romance novels under the name Lauren Roottrees. This included Romance in Court, which gained popularity. She followed the release up by writing 2 new sequels, creating what fans refer to the Court Jester series. You find no recent details about Lauren, though she's listed retired. Lauren Roottrees. Published 1965, nonfiction has seems to track, but here it's a book occasionally taught in schools. Are we printing the full book? We might be printing the full book. You can find a hardcover edition for students that has full-page, high-quality pictures and nice. A summary of the contents of the book, photos, as well as some of particularly relevant entries from diary have been added to your evidence. Beautiful. Jackpot it is. A Life Between the Wars. Except from Diaries of Roottrees. Skullbound Publishing. The below are notes from observations made while skimming through Lauren Roottrees' diary pages in Life Between Wars. Lauren Roottrees is one of the notable Roottrees listed in your evidence. She will be marked in a star chart with a star. The book was published in 1965 and consists of diary entries that stretch from 40 to 65. The most important event that much of diary and Lauren's thoughts revolve around was the loss of her husband Jacob. Jacob died in the final month of World War II while Lauren was pregnant. This left her to raise her son Clark alone. Lauren never married and only had 1 child. That should narrow down the tree. One child. Hello. Eh? This... Oh, who knows, actually. Where are the stars? The stars... This? And then one child... And one child had an interesting career. Let's try. Where is it? Is this one? Let's try Lauren. Writer. Author. Jacob. Maybe. And back to the evidence. Clark. Meh. Clark. Maybe. Skimming the pages of diary gleaned the following information. She was the granddaughter of Elias and Gwyneth on her father's side. Okay, that's the father. Okay. Is it a detective game? Yeah, kinda. We're trying to discover the family tree from clues. It is something. Her mother's family was called Castles, but she hardly ever mentions them. Her father, who she always refers to Pop, was the head of lawyer of the Roottrees County Company and helped write a legal document called the Clan's Trust. That's important. It's clear from context that Rees have been internal shorthand names for the different generations of the family. Lauren uses them often. 5 pieces. The first generation of children by Gwyneth and Elias. Lauren's father was in this. Okay. We already figured this out. The next generation, Lauren's generation. The free spirits generation of Lauren's, including her son. I see. The Clan's Trust is a highly unusual corporate arrangement named after Clancy Edward Roottrees, who was Eliza's son and Roottrees Candy Company's head lawyer at the time. Clancy Edward lawyer. What does that ring a bell? Due to its unique nature, it's often brought up in online discussion after financial matters inheritance as an oddity. The company mandates that fixed percentage of its profits are split every quarter amongst the bank accounts representing each direct relative of Elias and Gwyneth. An account is created for each blood relative at birth and first accessible when they reach 18. The actual numbers have been fully disclosed in the public, but due to the ever-increasing success of the company's significant amount of money, the Clan's Trust is known for being essentially impossible to get around due to the many checks and balances written to it. Still, there have been a few situations in which family members have tried to forcibly remove another member from the trust. Most details online are pretty vague since the matters are handled internally. The only information discovered from this university law school, which apparently guest lecture. was just thinking of playing Lenoir game. I don't think I ever played it. I might look into it to put it on my list. But I have such a large backlist, to be honest. You find a very few details about Wiggly incident. Assumed, okay. From what you can tell, RR attempted unsuccessfully to remove a fellow family member from the trust. It was said that RR attempted two arguments. First, the person in question was born out of wedlock, and second, they committed a significant crime against fellow family member. Still, due to the ironclad wording of Clancy Trust, it was impossible to remove any direct descendant of Elias Roottrees without completely dissolving the trust. Interesting. Mm-hmm. The class just mentioned main times business. Watch most themselves 40s, 50s, but occasionally for more recent reference to creep in. From context, it's clear that allows every family to earn money based on the profits of the company. Candy Company. Infallible legal aspects that were designed to consider Roottrees secure the future of his father's famous name. Okay, let's go to different. Interesting. An entry entitled Complaints from Lauren Roottrees Diary, written 1953. This entry seems to focus specifically on one of Lauren's family members, Gwen, who is unnotable Roottrees. Okay, we know about Gwen. It seems everyone has something to complain about. Gwen, as an only child, complained of loneliness. Didn't we put Gwen as an only child? Yes, we did. I told her that being expected to watch after three younger brothers didn't feel like a blessing, but I felt of tough ears. Yes, this would be three males then. So far, not wrong. During the summer, where I spent to stay with her and Aunt Margot. I hoped she would be the sister I never had and that I'd do the same for her. I even tried to dye my hair blonde to fit in with the two of them. What a mess, but she just complained. To her, I was the lucky cousin. Now she's off living with a glamorous life while I'm stuck here with Clark. I must admit, seeing her everywhere contributes to my unhappiness. Her visage stares at me even now from my coffee table. She gets to be the starlet in Starlet and tell tales of how the gallivants around the world, kissing the likes like Harrison Lane while Bill Williams. She's the first Roottrees woman to be anything other than a housewife, and I'm jealous. If I were not a single mother, I would make my own way in his world. I'm off topic. A girl with all luck in the world was jealous of me and now I thought I've been undoubtedly burdened by terrible tragedy. I'm also lucky to be born into a family that can support me for eternity. I can raise a child without worry, unlike countless other widows. If any of them were to hear me complaining, they would rightfully scoff just like I do at Gwen. Okay. Dynasty. An entry entitled Dynasty, from Lauren's Roottrees diary written in 1958. It focused on the day her grandfather Elias announced he would step down as president of the Roottrees Candy Company and the meeting to determine his successor. I wish I had been a fly on the wall that today. Clancy told me that everyone got quite heated. Granddad was furious none of his sons would take over as president, but that's what he gets for holding onto it so long. With architects, preachers, and lawyers, nobody got time for candy. So with the 5 pieces refusing to step in, it became down to next chance. Papa argued at length that the company should stay with our branch of the family since we still have the Roottrees name. And not even sure Clancy would have wanted it, but he's the one who has volunteered. Instead, it ended up going to Zach. Even though his surname doesn't match the candy, he's the firstborn son of the firstborn 5-piece. I'm so lost. Firstborn 5-piece. First son. This is the 5-piece. This is Zach. And then we go president second. I'm not sure how it's relevant to running a company, but Granddad has always had a very particular views when it came to his bloodline. I asked Clancy if it ever came up with that a woman could take over. After all, Angie's older than Zach, and I'm next oldest of us all. But he just laughed. I'll never forget the cuss words Pop used when he told Maya it wouldn't go to us. Mother, ever the quick-witted, at least with catchy remarks, countered back. Maybe they wanted to go to the only member of the family who looks like he has samples the product. So if we find a picture of someone quite large, that may be Zach. I think I'd like it if you like playing detective. I will look into it. But I honestly have so many games on my list right now. I can't promise it's gonna be soon. The entry entitled Sam from Lauren Rootrees' diary written in 1963. From a previous entry, you learned that Elias Roottrees has given to his wife announced that Sam, an obscure relative, was to be included in family gatherings. Gwyneth had been pushing to include Sam for quite some time. Lauren writes, "Why Sam? I have many distant relatives I've never met. After all, Granny had sisters and Granddad had a brother or two. But I was told trim their branches from the family tree. So why is Sam special? Nothing adds up, and I'm not the only one to realize." Angie summoned all the next gens to a secret meeting in Zach's office. Vince in Paris, but the rest of us, including Miracle Boys, spent ages trying to unravel the mystery. I didn't recognize Sam or Uncle Junior's wedding to Patsy this year. At the reception, when asked who Sam was, Bob Shushmin said it was complicated. Interesting. Clancy swore he saw Sam working alongside the farm hands, E.C. and John, when he used to drive past Anderson Farm on his way to work. Upon hearing that, Zach checked the records and managed to confirm all 3 are in the books. Eli, Miracle's youngest, not my brother, even chimed in. Apparently, when he was riding his mini bike alongside the farm a few weeks ago, Sam gave him some odd tools and taught him how to make the bike's engine faster. None of us think that proper for a multitude of reasons, but Eli certainly seems thrilled. At the end of the day, nothing explains why an outsider was cozied into family affairs, especially one who works the farm at all places. Whatever happened to blood thicker than syrup? Why is Granddad making an exception now? Not a good idea about thinking the next game after caving in and reinstalling the Mass Effect. Good luck with Mass Effect. One of the final entries called Clark from Lauren Roottrees' diary written in 1964. Clark's getting married and, in my opinion, far too young. He's barely a teen for God's sake, and Daniela isn't much longer. Oh, yeah, older. Longer. By openly confronting them would make me a hypocrite. After all, Jacob and I got married 16. Clark, like the rest of his generation, is a free spirit. What else do you call a group of kids growing up with more money than any of one person can spend? Did I enter Clark already? Where is she? Yes. What's her name? Danielle. Do, 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 do. They all aspire to be smarter than the answers and nonsense. The only one who has on this one is Carl, but that's because Pop forced Clancy to send him to the academy. Maybe I'm just getting old, but our generation was never so bad. My brothers all seemed to pursue path of knowledge, and the most rebellious thing any of us ever did was bring home someone who would be legal to marry if we were lived anywhere South Pennsylvania. So black person. Bob seems to have gotten over because Edward is set to take over his department once he retires. And as for me, my first published book, Swashbuckle My Heart, is based on the pirate stories I used to invent with Jacob when we were bulking the woods after school. I think he'd be proud that Clark and I are carrying on his name. Even my cousins are doing well. Zach's not a bad president. After all, and his sister seems to be doing a good job raising her twins. Gwen is Gwen. But at least she came out of the divorce with her head held high. She even told us that she might come home next year so we can meet her kids. But the free spirits, if any other family I'd call, end up on the streets. Even Clark. I'm feeling an information overlord right now. Lauren's diary contains labeled pictures. This is the 5 pieces. Okay. Caption: This picture is famous in our house. Pop even had it framed. That's him to the left. That's the Pop. It was taken in 1955 to celebrate the move to the new warehouse when Eli Jr. designed. Angie and I both want to be in the photo since Miracle was in it, and the 3 of us were all about the same age. We were all told only the 5 pieces, which really didn't go over well, to say the least. Eventually, supposed to stop the tantrums, they posed us in front of the camera with Mr. Morden, who was there with Aunt Gwendolyn. I found out years later that they never even took a second photo. Okay. On the left. On the left. Oop. How many did I get? These 3 entries are correct and have been locked. Okay. Okay. Booyah.